we're back. Welcome back to the SilmFilm Script Discussion, Season 2, Episode 10, Part 4. Yeah. And stuff. Marie's fingers say 4. I'll trust her from now on. Anyway. So I think we've sufficiently gone over Act 1.
Yay.
Yeah? Okay.
Yes.
So we're leading into Act 2. Act 2 is going to have Caranthir, like the first scene is going to be Caranthir coming to Feanor and letting him know about this problem. So up until now, Feanor hasn't gotten into the arms business.
Right.
I think this information is going to be what causes that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So to keep it indirect, because Caranthir's not going to say that this is all Melkor's.
You need to have thorns.
Like, I'm just saying, we had to leave something out to make this work. So we can't leave out Melkor's involvement because he is the fortune-teller in this scenario.
Right.
Name's going to get dropped. So to make it less direct, maybe Caranthir can just be complaining in general and not be like, Dad, you have to hear what they said about you.
Right. And he can...
Because that's a little too...
And if Fingolfin doesn't speak out against this pronunciation...
Right.
Yeah.
Or this pronouncement...
So Caranthir could just be telling his whole family. Like, his brothers are all there, his mom's there, his dad's there, and he's like, oh my gosh, you should have heard what happened, and goes into the whole story of, like, Melkor was telling fortunes, and he said this about Fingolfin, and yet Feanor's immediate reactions can be, and what did Fingolfin do?
Right.
Right.
Because that's where the focus comes in.
And that's where it's like, he wants it. That's where Feanor is going to think that his brother is interested in usurping him.
Right. And he kind of wants to think ill of his... He kind of wants to think ill of his brother. You know what this is?
No. What is that?
That is a rainbow cookie. We're about to find out if it's any good.
Okay.
Sorry. 1 second. It's really good. Perfect. Good job. Anyway, sorry. Back on to what we were talking about. Yeah. So, sorry. So, we're going to get Feanor's opinion. Feanor kind of wants to think ill of Fingolfin.
Yes. So he should say something like, "Oh, that little brat. He's always been like that."
Yeah.
But it's gonna get a lot more serious. So maybe not something so dismissive of, "Oh, that little brat." Like, that's a little bit, "Oh, my baby brother being annoying again." But it's not. That's not how Feanor feels about this.
Right. So Feanor is gonna kind of express the idea. Of course, he had nothing to say about that. That's clearly, clearly, I knew that he would show his desire one day.
Yeah. Yes. Or even, Melkor just told him exactly what he wanted to hear.
Right.
Melkor's a charlatan. He doesn't know anything. These fortunes were just stupid nonsense.
Yes.
But anyone can see that that's what Fingolfin really wants, even someone stupid like Melkor.
Right. Yeah, no, I like that. I like that better, actually. Because it shows how dismissive he is of Melkor.
Of everyone who's not Feanor, to be fair.
Yes. Speaking of Melkor, I think I've asked this before, or I mentioned this before, but like, what he's going to tell the fortunes. Is he going to say anything else in the episode? Like, I'm sorry,
we have to handle the Whisper campaign at some point.
Yes. That's what I was thinking.
We can't show him directly saying the things, so we have to be a little careful how we do that. But he needs to be involved in some way.
Yeah.
Well, we can show him talking about the coming of men later on in the episode.
Yeah, we'll need that.
Okay. But we can, after we show Feanor starting to make weapons, we can start to have people talking about how Feanor is preparing to oust Fingolfin and Finarfin from Tyrion.
Yes.
He thinks he's being completely defensive in this, but people are going to start talking, maybe even in front of Fingolfin and Finarfin. Although I think that's going to happen in Act 3. In Act 3, we're going to start seeing people talking to Fingolfin and Finarfin, saying that Feanor wants to get rid of them, that he's preparing to get rid of them.
Yeah.
Also, you know what actually would be kind of cool to do with the fight scene? Is if the person that's fighting Fingolfin gets him into a disadvantageous position, and gets the sword close up where it could potentially be almost right in his face, and Fingolfin does something to deflect it with his hand instead of with his sword. Because the reason I'm suggesting this is if we can show that
he was prepared to.
Right, he could have done something other than just walk away.
I see what you're going with that, and it's kind of cool. It might be a little too. Well, I don't know.
Well, the thing I'm suggesting would be pretty quick. It's not.
Right. I think we can do it and have it work well. There's a movie, Rob Roy.
Yes.
Okay.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
They have a scene at the end where the guy is going to have to grab a sword.
Right.
With his bare hand, he's going to be cut by the blade.
Well, the difference is though that if they're doing it with blunt swords,
right, there will be no blood. Right. But the point is to set that scene up at the end, because it's the climax of the movie. They had to set it up.
Right.
So in the beginning, someone challenges him to a duel, and when they're agreeing to terms, he says, "Oh well, first blood then." And the guy's like, "Yeah, till the first blood," and he just nicks the guy's sword with his hand and says, "Oh," walks away.
Right.
Nothing of it at the beginning, so you see that he's not afraid of doing something like that. So then when he grabs the sword at the end, you realize he was the type of person who would do that.
Right. Well,
yes, I could see setting up, if we want to set up the end scene from Fingolfin's point of view, yes.
Yeah. But it would have to be something that you could do to a blunt blade that you could also do to a sharp blade, without it being like, well, he couldn't do that because it's a sharp blade.
Right.
You know, so if the sword is leveled at him this way and he knocks it away with his hand and overcomes his opponent immediately after, now first thing, that's going to be a quick exchange. It doesn't necessarily I don't think that it necessarily would occur to people 100% in the final scene that he could have done that, but we can kind of telegraph it enough that
it's not an equivalent, but there's a hint there, which is all we need.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, because thinking about it, the one easy thing to do is to not be there when someone's blow comes. So if someone is trying to hit you or stab you or whatever, to step to the side or back to let them do their strike, and then step in and do your strike to retaliate. That's an easy. It's not really, not quite a dodge, but you're just not there when they.
Yeah, when they I know what you mean.
So if we show him doing stuff like that, where he sees what his opponent is doing and counters it, then we know he's got the reflexes to not be totally surprised.
Well, also, it also sets up the duel with Morgoth as well.
Right. The dodging thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I was kind of going with that.
Right.
Okay. All right. So we're in Act 2. We get the scene with Feanor and Sons. Do we go right into arms manufacture, or is there something else that we want to do before we get there?
Probably something else, because we want to be switching between the camps kind of thing.
Right.
And this is not Feanor's story. The fact that Feanor's going into arms production is something we're going to see, but not focus on. Right.
And we can see that in Act 3 anyway. I don't think we necessarily need to do much of that in Act 2.
Based on who Feanor is, once he has a sword and once he's wearing it on his belt, like, it's not going to take too long for that sword to come out.
Right. So what do we think, what else do we need to have in Act 2 then?
When do we find out about men? Is that going to be Act 3 as well?
I would say that's probably Act 3.
Okay, so then if that's not going to be till Act 3, then the Feanor versus Fingolfin Whisper campaign needs to start now.
Right. Okay. So maybe have the scene where somebody tells Fingolfin that Feanor is preparing to get rid of him.
Except that seems like it would be in response to the arms race.
Right.
If Feanor hasn't made any swords yet, that wouldn't be something said.
Right.
So it would have to be something else. What else could? Okay. The Noldor who support Feanor would have plenty of unpleasant things to say about Fingolfin.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Like, this isn't just them personally against each other. This is their people against each other.
Right.
So we could have a conversation in which some of Feanor's supporters, and we could see that they're like other craftsmen or something, somehow attached to Feanor's camp.
Right. Yeah.
Kind of like, not exactly trash talking, but saying somewhat disparaging things about Fingolfin and Finarfin.
Yeah.
Even their parentage. I mean, it could come up that they're only half Noldor themselves, and Finarfin doesn't even have a Noldor what. Finarfin is clearly not committed to the Noldor because he's got a Vanyar mother and a Teleri wife.
Right. Yeah.
And his oldest son is courting Vanyar, and Fingolfin's second son, who is the one who got married last episode, married a Vanya. Like, it's becoming a theme that side of the family is not all that committed to the Noldor.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so like somebody could, like the argument I think could be partially that the Sons of Indus don't really care about what's going on with the Noldor. The Noldor aren't a priority to them. What's the response from the Fingolfin camp on this?
That Feanor doesn't care about anything, and he's only focused on his own personal stuff.
Right.
So he wouldn't even know what's going on with the Noldor. Right.
So there are people who see through the. Oh, it's going to be so hard not to make this topical. They're kind of seeing through the cult of personality that's gathering around Feanor.
But then you have to do a cult of personality for Feanor because he's extremely charismatic.
Yes.
His followers, love him not just for that, but for all his accomplishments. I mean, like, there's good stuff to say about Feanor.
Right.
And then he's a jerk. So the detractors have to talk about how he's a jerk.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Like.
All right. And so is this a conversation between all unnamed characters?
I think so. I think this is a on the streets of Tyrion kind of conversation.
Right.
Or in the court of Finwë conversation.
Right. Maybe.
So if we need a named character, we have Rumo.
Right.
Is Rumo back in?
what we could do is have this going on in the court of Finwë, which is kind of like the forum in a way,
Right?
and have Indus and Finwë standing on the balcony that we've established goes around the court.
No, yeah, they've got a gallery.
And have them standing up there and have them, because what we can do is have Finwë come to the conclusion that he's going to have to step in and bring everybody together so that we can all work this out. This is getting out of hand.
Okay, so Finwë is noticing there's a problem.
Yes.
Yes.
For once.
I was about to say, good on him. About time.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, we can give him, like, he can legitimately be trying to fix the situation.
Okay.
He just doesn't bargain on Feanor being
Armed.
showing up armed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we show this conversation in the court, which is kind of a two sides are polarized.
Yes, it's almost like a parliament. Yeah, it's going to kind of look like a parliament place.
Right.
House of Commons, kind of like that. The House of Commons,
Yeah.
interestingly, I don't know if you've seen it or seen pictures, but there's a line on the carpet. There's a line on the carpet that's about 2 feet away from the benches where the members of Parliament sit. And so the reason for this, the members of Parliament are not allowed to cross this line. The reason being because it's as close as you can get to the opposing side without being able to reach them with a sword.
Funny how they have that rule.
Because that apparently was a problem at some point in England, and that line in the carpet still exists today.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's so British that a line in the carpet does the trick. Like, really?
Well,
if someone's coming at you with a sword, they're like, oops, but I can't step over this line on the carpet.
I think the idea being that if somebody steps over the line, the guards will intervene.
Right.
But
so,
it's a little...
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
So, okay. I mean,
Right, so
you can't suddenly draw your sword and kill somebody with a draw cut because you have to it takes forethought to get there.
Right.
Yes. Okay. We have that scene, and then afterwards we'll have a scene between Finwë and Indus where they talk about this problem with their sons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's where we find out what Finwë's planning to do, and we find out what Indus's take on the whole thing is.
Right. Which I think that I don't think that she is 100% on Fingolfin's side, necessarily.
No, we established that she wanted to do what she could to do right by Muriel's son. But that was a long time ago.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But I think that we can have her being. Well, I mean, I don't want it to be a point of contention between Finwë and Indus, where Finwë is 100% supporting Feanor.
Yeah. No.
Indus is 100% supporting Fingolfin. I feel like their 2 points of view are somewhere in between those two.
Yeah.
Yes. I feel like they start rather close to each other now. They're going to become polarized, but that's almost as a result of what happens at the end of this. I think that we can easily portray it as Finwë takes Feanor's side, specifically because the Valar called Feanor out without going through him.
Right.
Yes.
The whole unkinged thing. Like, I think we can definitely play it up. Like, yes, sure, Feanor's always been Finwë's favorite. He's always been partial to him. But the fully taking his side thing was not about Feanor.
Right. Well, that's yeah, and I think we can. Well, and one of the things, like, to point out that the Noldor in general don't like this move is if Fingolfin makes the statement that he releases Feanor from guilt.
Yeah.
You know, like, he himself is like, no, guys, this is our problem.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have a say. I mean, you get a say because you're big and powerful and all that, but
no, really, we're good.
Right. We could have worked this out.
Right.
Yeah. So I think when we can deal with that all next episode. I think that will be the opening of the next episode. But just to point out, Finwë and Indus are a little bit more on the same page now. Now, are we going to have Indus say something about Muriel's foresight? I know.
I feel like it's a little early for that. I feel like if
so that should be after he's banished.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so that'll be
if we show Indus on a visit to Formanos,
which we are. We're going to show that.
Yeah, then we can have her say something to that effect.
I just want to make sure that
because Feanor hasn't done anything yet.
Yeah, and that was my whole concern, is that I didn't want it to sound like Feanor was fated to go bad or something, which is what using Muriel's foresight kind of sets up. So it's better after he's already done something wrong. Be like, no, really, this is what she was worried about, these things that he is doing. Yeah. So Indus and Finwë talk about the problem. They're pretty much in agreement about what to do. They both see some problems in what both parties are doing wrong.
Right.
We can show that they lean one way or the other, but show that they both feel that it's getting out of hand, that both parties are kind of in the wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are they going to do?
Well, what they're going to do is Finwë's going to call everybody together, and we're going to work this out like that. We're going to talk this through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're going to put everybody in the same room. No, that's our Act 4, but we're setting that up.
Right. Well, what I meant was, so Finwë and Indus will discuss it, but he's not going to tell her, so I'm going to call everyone together. Like, he can't say what his plan is yet.
Yeah, okay.
He just says, all right, we got to do something about this. And then we cut scene to go something.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So
that's all. Okay. So
So where do we go next from there? Do we want to do Feanor at his secret forge? At least working on the new and improved sword. Ingolfin thought he was cool with his sword. I'm gonna make a better one.
More awesome sword.
Because he's Feanor, and that's what he does.
Right. Yes. He did it to Rumil. Well, actually, we've kind of set this up in what he did to Rumil.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he goes for what you're known for.
He does.
Yes.
So is that
anything
what we
you
want?
Can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
So. All right, so we're kind of, are we in Act 2 still, or do we feel like the midpoint is
Feanor making the sword to be the
it has to be done?
I think we're good with Act 2 now.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. So Act 3, we can open up on Feanor working on the sword.
Well, I mean, can we end Act 2 with that?
I guess we could.
Because I would like to open Act 3 with Melkor talking about men.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
That right about the midpoint is a good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, and especially if we have Finwë saying we need to do something about this before it gets out of hand, and the next thing we see is Feanor making a sword.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
It's like, dude, already a little too late.
Finwë is too little too late. That's kind of his mode.
Oh, we thought for a minute that we gave him a good scene,
nope.
And then we immediately take it away from him.
Poor Finwë.
Well, again, like, at least he's attempting to do something, which
Yes.
has been his problem. He never even tries. He's just like, I don't know, stuff is happening. So,
yeah,
like, I like that. He gets a slight improvement. Problem is, things are moving way too fast for him at this point.
Right.
Okay, so.
Okay, well, why don't we take a break real quick? This one's probably going to really have to be real quick because it's getting on to, it's almost 10 o'clock now. If you are watching this live, we'll be back in a second. If you are watching this in the future, definitely like and share the videos if you like and want to share them. If you haven't yet, feel free to subscribe and check out the links below. We got some stuff on Mythmoot 4, which is coming up June 1st through the 4th. Awesome conference. What's in it? Dr. Verlin Flieger is going to be there. Michael Drought is going to be there. Obviously, Dr. Corey Olson is going to be there because he's the one who has started all this nonsense. And a bunch of us are planning on being there as well. So check it out. June 1st to the 4th. Awesomeness. See you in a little bit.